Talking sports. Welcome on a Thursday. We got some of the fellas here. We got maybe we got the bench players. I don't know. I'm a bench player. I don't know.
Yeah, we got the second team.
We got the. No, we're good. We're good. We're gonna have some fun. Unfortunately, JQ had a little issue. We're gonna keep him in our thoughts and prayers, and then Rob will be joining us momentarily. And we got a special guest, big supporter from back in the day, Mr. Naj. So he's gonna add his little comments and all that fun stuff too, as always here. But let's get this going here. Let's check in as always, Gary, my guy, loving the jersey, Mexico. How are you feeling this evening, sir?
Wow, I'm feeling nervous with this second unit, but I'm going to get my shots up. That's for sure.
Hey, now is the time, man. What they say? Whenever the first teamers go down, man, you got to have somebody got to step up, and that's what we're doing. We're stepping up here, and Rob will be on as always, so it should be good. Really quickly, just going to throw out a couple things for those that want to follow us and just kind of check in with us and all the fun places you can find us. First and foremost, if you want to follow us on Twitter, it's always the same. Our handle, Twitter or X, if you will, it's at the number 12 THMEN Sports. You see the little crawl there. We are on YouTube, guys. And again, we're just getting that up and running. Can't wait to dive into that as well. And that handle is at another 12th Man Sports. So we're posting all of our content there. So all of our live stuff will be going. And Gary, I'm excited. Eventually, we're going to post Rob Shorts there, and that'll be one of our formats, or one of our channels too as well. So we'll talk about that, and just excited about the future of 12th Man Sports. We appreciate everybody supporting us as always. But we got a lot of things to dive into. So, and again, JQ doesn't really care about the Steelers, right? So we're going to talk about a couple of these topics tonight. And one of the topics we're going to talk about is TJ Watt's extension. So did you have a chance to look at that and all that fun stuff or no?
Yeah, 3 years, $123 million, 108 guaranteed, $41 million a year. Hey, he got paid. But he's one of those guys you got to pay. You got to pay. You have to have a pass rush.
Yeah.
And TJ Watts is that guy that can do just that. He's going to come in and he's going to wreak havoc on Cincinnati.
Oh, no. JQ is not here to defend himself.
I'm not. Sorry, JQ. I know you had a rough day today. We miss you as we do anytime you're not with us. We love your thoughts on things. What do you take about this? The only thing I take is that's going to be the low end of a topic that we're going to talk about a little later on with Parsons in Dallas. But I think 108 guaranteed. I think he's well worth the money, and that's just what they're.
Yeah, for those that are checking in, he signed a 3-year, $123 million extension. This is the NFL record, $41 million average annual value. So again, as you mentioned it, Gary, 108 of that is guaranteed. It keeps the 30-year-old through 2028. And it actually, as you mentioned, it's going to reset. Let me get Rob on. It's actually going to reset the edge rusher market. So, how is this going to affect Micah Parsons? We're going to talk about that. The Steelers locked down the most prolific sack artist since 2017. And again, it kind of buys some cap clarity, I think, before training camp. And Rob, good to see you, my guy. Welcome aboard.
What's going on, gentlemen? Sorry, joined a little late. How's it going? I see we're talking about TJ Watt.
Hey, Rob, I'd like to buy a bean pie first and foremost, man. So let's keep it going.
Mr. Bullseye.
Hey. Looking sharp, man. No.
Looking good, brother.
But yeah,
as always.
Go ahead. Yep, go ahead, my guy.
Yeah, TJ Watt, man, is the highest contract ever for a 9 quarterback. And, it kind of shows the Pittsburgh Steelers look like they're trying to go all in, right? Went out and got Aaron Rodgers, traded for DK Metcalf, signing TJ Watt to the largest non-QB contract in NFL history. I mean, I still think they're third place in that division, but they are at least trying to compete. And with these moves that they've been making so far this offseason. They also traded for Jalen Ramsey as well. So a lot of moves for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're trying to do everything they can to compete in one of the toughest divisions in the NFL.
Well, it's going to see how their quarterback does and how temperamental he is, and if he just actually fits into that, can adapt to that Pittsburgh Steeler culture.
Yep.
If he can mold himself to that and get over himself, they'll be a competitive team.
Well, they will definitely be competitive. I mean, Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season as a head coach. I mean, he's had some 8-8 seasons in there, but he's never officially had a losing season in his tenure as a Pittsburgh Steelers coach. So they're definitely going to be a competitive football team. I just don't know. I mean, Aaron Rodgers did play better in the second half of the season last year. I just don't know how much he has in the tank as far as leading them to a deep playoff run, right? And that's when you got Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson in that division. Now, look, the Bengals got some questions on defense. Trey Hendrickson still holding out. Shemar Stewart, the number 1 pick, hasn't been signed yet, right? So that's going to be the hurdle for the Bengals to overcome. But they do have either, at worst, the second best quarterback in the division, maybe the best quarterback in the division, depending on who you ask between Burrow and Lamar Jackson. So I still think the Ravens and the Bengals are the top 2 teams in the division just because of their quarterback situations.
Let's get to Naj's question too, and I'm going to throw that out to everyone. That we have to talk about how cheap the Steelers are paying Watt, and if the collusion controversy helped him is the question.
Rob,
the collusion controversy helped T.J. Watt.
I want to make sure I'm right with that. I'm going to be clear with that, Naj. Is that what you're asking about? Because I know he put it in the chat, so I'm curious about your thoughts on that. I want to make sure that we got that in before he dropped off. But that's what he was asking about, Rob. Yes, absolutely.
Well, it could possibly have helped him, right? I mean, I know, that collusion thing, they're keeping that hush-hush, the NFL owners and the NFLPA. And if I'm the NFLPA, why would you agree to keep that hush-hush, right? I mean, I would put the NFL on blast with that kind of stuff. I don't understand why they agreed to keeping that behind the scenes and keeping that hush-hush.
Well, as a collective bargaining unit, that Players Association, the reason why they would keep that hush-hush is they got something for that down the road in a future contract or whatever with the league. I'm positive of that. I think that would be the only reason why they would keep that hush-hush is if the owners agreed to either take out some language, add some language into something down the road. We'll never know, but I've been in those situations and in those rooms, and I'm positive that that's what it was.
Yep. Well, that's a valid point for sure.
Yeah, good stuff. Hope that answers. Like I said, I know we're trying to keep it interesting, Naj. I know there's a JQ man. Woo! I'm sure he'd be going off about that too. So there's probably some things, and pretty controversial right now too. So I'm curious about how they're going to try to go around and spin that.
The interesting thing with this contract with T.J. Watt, how does this affect the Bengals and Trey Hendrickson situation, right? Does this kind of set the market? Trey Hendrickson has actually led the league in sacks the last 2 years, right? And now he sees T.J. Watt get the largest non-quarterback contract in NFL history. So Trey Hendrickson's agent is saying, hey, you got to at least match that or better for me to sign now.
So now we're going to talk about – I'm going to switch this to Gary because now Micah Parsons raises his hand like, hey, about me. Because, he has yet to receive that extension. He's publicly frustrated, Gary. He even called out the Cowboys ownership on the 6 Feet Under podcast.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
He's participating, so that's the good thing.
Right.
That to me is a real clear sign if a player is distraught over a situation. Is he participating? He is. He's with the team doing his thing. With Parsons, I bet his deal approaches 50.
Yeah.
And Jerry will end up paying it because he's waited. But I've also read a few things about Parsons, there was a deal that he liked, that the Cowboys liked, and his agent said, no, we're going to wait.
Wow.
So that's why I think he's going to be pushing the $50 million. Now, that's going to be a $200 million deal. We'll see how much of it's guaranteed and the specifics on that. But, I mean, with the deals like Myles Garrett got and TJ Watt, and what we were talking about last week with these, that's the market value. We were talking about that last week, market value of players. And this particular position is now skyrocketing.
We were talking about that too as we switch kind of split subjects here, Naj. We're talking about the, obviously paying Jalen Williams and, for the NBA, and then what we pay for Chet Holmgren. Obviously JQ was like, there's no way in hell I'd pay that dude that much. But we're like, that's kind of the market value. I mean, there's, so in that vein, I'm going to step back to Dallas because Dallas is now staring at 3 mega deals, right? You got Dak, you got CeeDee Lamb, and now you possibly have, Parsons the next 12 months. Man, this is going to be interesting for the Cowboys, man. I don't know, you're going to have to kind of weigh, what you find important. I know how you feel about Dak, but I'm sure you'd rather pay Parsons than Dak, but that's kind of market value, right?
Unfortunately, that it is that's what it is. And is Micah Parsons, to me, more deserving of a big time contract than Dak Prescott is? In my opinion, he is. Dak's our guy. That's what we're rolling with. That's what we're going to continue to roll with. But with these 3, that doesn't leave a hell of a lot for the rest of the team. Tell you that. So we better get it done because that's tough.
Yeah. Michael Parsons and Trey Hendrickson both was looking at this deal. It's like, I've either got to match it or get something bigger. And what TJ Watt has got, Michael Parsons, the unique thing about him is he's diverse. But TJ Watt and Trey Hendrickson, they're just strictly pass rushers, right? Yeah. And Michael Parsons was dropping coverage. He'll rush the passer. He'll do some of everything, right? So he's a lot more diverse even than Trey Hendrickson and TJ Watt. And you can almost make a case that he deserves more than those 2 guys. Probably the best defender in football.
Understood.
That's why I was thinking that his contract will be somewhere in that 50-ish range per year, 50 million per year. So it's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. All right, let's keep this moving, and we're gonna get.
Naj made a comment in the chat about the Bengals.
Yeah.
It should be a new day in Cincinnati, but for some reason they're going back to being the cheap Brown family. He's not on to defend the Bengals, but he'll probably agree with you.
Yeah.
And, look, when you look at your best defensive player is not signed and camp is very near, about a week or so away, you're the only team in the league that don't have your number 1 pick signed in Shemar Stewart. And I agree. And look, obviously I'm a Saints fan first, but there's always a couple of teams that you root for, and the Bengals and the Commanders are 2 of those teams just because of the LSU connection, right? That I'm kind of also root for. But on the surface, it looks like the Bengals are going back to being the Bungles.
Oh no,
they are not taking care of business. You got Joe Burrow, one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league. Jamar Chase, you can make an argument he's the number 1 receiver in the league.
1A.
Offense, right? I mean, they were just whipping people at the end of the season last year with that offense. But you don't take care of business with Trey Hendrickson. You're the only team that don't have your number 1 pick signed. You're looking like you're going back to trying to be the Bungles of an organization.
And it's so tough because Shemar Stewart, again, I know he had, he tested pretty phenomenally at the combine, but there were some questions with him, right? That dude was so physically talented, but he only had 3 sacks or something crazy. So
half or something like that.
Well, there's questions about him, So
yeah, still number 1 pick. You got to sign it.
I agree with that side too, but the point is, it's tough because if I'm Shemar, you'd be like, yo, I need to prove, these not haters, but prove a lot of what the commentators are saying about his game, and it's not looking good. And anytime that you hold out, you don't want to wish this on anybody, but seems like there's a higher possibility of an injury. So, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, Shemar, you can eat outside of Trey Henderson. If both you guys are on the edge, that's a pretty dominant, obviously pretty good defense. I mean, I know he's just a rookie, but, if Shemar is supposedly what he can do as far as physically, that could be a good defense. But as you said, Rob, you got to take care of the players, man. And there are some threats as he's going to go back to college, but
that's not going to happen.
Mike Elko was like, no, that's not happening. He put up that. But yeah,
we're probably waiting.
I don't think he can if you sign with an agent.
You absolutely cannot. It was just funny. He's just trying to pull every that's probably agent talk, right? Well, I'm going back to college. You ain't going back, man. Get the heck out of here, man. But I hate to keep picking on the Bengals because I'm not in a position. But again, just you kind of wonder about some choices. About picking. I don't know, man. And it's just I don't know. It's a tough call whenever they drafted that dude. But we'll see. Pay the guy, and I'm sure you're not here. But let's talk about another situation here with hold on. What did Naj say? The Stewart thing bothers me because we put in the rookie scale. Yeah, they put in the rookie wage scale. Yeah.
It's already in place. There's no excuses. Shouldn't be saying.
Yeah,
the structure is already there.
That's a great point, Naj. Everything is already slotted. We've put that rookie wage scale in. So yeah, 100% accurate. Good call, my guy. Rob, Gary. So let's talk about what happened with the Jags and Travis Hunter. The Jacksonville, they traded up to number 2, and they gave Travis Hunter the NFL's first fully guaranteed rookie deal for a non-QB. So does this mean that the plan is he starts outside, at the QB outside, I think it was Tyson Campbell, and then also as possibly a wide receiver number 3? Do you expect this to kind of happen? Some gadget packages and some special teams juice, if you will, or what do you think about this particular move with Travis Hunter?
I think he's going to be an every down defensive player. Just my thoughts. He'll definitely focus. That'll be his main focus, being a defensive back or a corner. But I think you're going to see him in 10, 15. I don't think no more than 20 plays. But somewhere in that ballpark, you're going to see them having some package plays where you can run some reverses. Maybe once they get inside the red zone, inside the 20-yard line, you add another weapon on the field, give you an opportunity to possibly score a touchdown there. So I think, they're going to have some packages for him for sure on the offensive side of the football. He wants to do it, and I'm sure when the Jaguars had that vision and when they drafted him, they envisioned him being that kind of player, right? That's why you trade up to go get him, because you say, hey, he can be an elite defensive player. He can help us on offense in some key situations. It's hard to find players like that can do both. And how long can he do it? We'll see. But it looks like he has every indications of doing it, and that's why the Jaguars traded up to do him, because how often do you find a player that can have that kind of an impact on both sides of the football?
Well, it's rare that you find a player that has the skill set to be able to do that. And for a team to move up, Jags are a team, they need all the help they can get. So any extra punch that they can get on that offensive end, like you said, Rob, when they're inside the red zone to, potentially, even if they use him as a decoy at times, to have him out on the field is going to help them. Like I said, they need all the help they can get, but he's primarily going to be a defensive player. He's not going to spend. I think he'll spend 10 to 15 plays, depending on how their season goes. If it goes bad, where they need more and more help, that could be, ramped up some. But if they're smart, they won't kill this kid. They'll keep him in and just use him when they absolutely just need him, and not, destroy a young kid's career.
Yeah.
To get beat up on both sides of the field, in this day and age, if as strong and as powerful as these guys are.
Yeah. They definitely have to be smart with it. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
And they're not a smart organization.
Mark Brunell is not coming through that door.
I mean, that's just
Yeah.
I think that
You got a new head coach. Let's see what kind of vibe he brings to the organization. So yeah, he was offensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Bucks on last year, and he's young, he's energetic. So he's got it for them to trade up. They have a clear vision. We just have to see if that vision works.
I think, believe it or not, this has a lot to do with Trevor Lawrence. If you bear with me, because they traded up because they get a weapon, but they also want to help on the defensive side. So they figured they have somebody that can take away and give Trevor Lawrence a lot more opportunities to kind of do something too. So that's kind of what I feel. I feel like, you have a playmaker, if you will. And like you said, Rob, I agree. He's not going to play a lot, but his impact will be on the defensive side. So you trade up, you get somebody that's clearly a ball hawk, right, that can do some takeaways.
Yeah.
You get Trevor Lawrence a lot more opportunities. And, appreciate you, Naj. He's jumping off. But that's kind of what I feel. I feel like this is more also to help Trevor Lawrence, because he's getting that bust. If not, now's the time. There's only something we can do to make sure that you're successful. You gave Brian Jones.
I got a question for you guys.
Go ahead.
What's your take on Trevor Lawrence? We're talking about the Jags. What's your take on them? Is he that guy for him? Is he that guy?
He's underachieved for sure, in my opinion, right? Number 1 pick overall in the draft. Saw him compete at a high level in college.
Yeah.
And he definitely has underachieved. I think this is a make or break season for Trevor Lawrence, in my opinion, right? I think he needs to show significant improvement on this year. He's got a new head coach, offensive-minded head coach, Liam Cohen, who was hired to come in and reinvigorate Trevor Lawrence's career. So this is a make or break season for him. Like I said, he's got an offensive-minded coach who's done very well with quarterbacks. You saw him do really well with Baker Mayfield down in Tampa. Let's see what he can do with Trevor Lawrence. But this is a make or break season. Now, it's interesting we bring up Trevor Lawrence because I was just, reading, I think it was earlier today or maybe even yesterday, NFL executives. The article was about wide receivers that's going to make the biggest leap this year. And the number 1 answer was Brian Thomas Jr., who was on Jacksonville's roster. And if you saw, where did he go to school, by the way?
LSU. Come on, my guy.
There you go. I had to squeeze that in. But anyway.
Really? Don't encourage him, Dre.
Well, Brian Thomas, if you watch the games in the last 10 games of the season last year, he was incredible, right? And so now we'll see what Trevor Lawrence can do with Travis Hunter on the field sometimes. Brian Thomas Jr., who's electric, has got size and speed, right? So he's going to have the weapons to be successful. Travis Etienne is healthy. So there's really no excuse for Trevor Lawrence. This is a make or break season for him. If he doesn't get it done this year, the Jaguars got to, even though he's got that big contract, they're probably going to part ways with him.
Yeah.
I think Trevor Lawrence and Justin Herbert are 2 quarterbacks that have just not filled the bill.
Well, they had Bryce Young there too, Gary.
I think Justin Herbert has done more than Trevor Lawrence. Has he slightly underachieved? Yes, but I don't think it's a make or break season for Justin Herbert. He's at least been getting his team to the playoffs. He just hasn't performed well in the playoffs, right? So he's done more than, in my opinion, than Trevor Lawrence has. And I think Justin Herbert is perfect for Jim Harbaugh too.
And I think, but I do think he's had more around him than.
True, he's had a good defense for sure. Yeah. I mean, Ladd McConkey is the number 1 receiver, and he was a rookie last year.
That's crazy. Well, they got rid of they had a lot of injuries, my guy, so they were trying to get rid of stuff. And
now, interesting enough, I mentioned Brian Thomas, but Ladd McConkey, I think, was number 2 on that list by NFL executives, wide receivers to make the biggest jump this year.
I got to see where Drake London was on there too, because I think he was kind of pissed, if I'm not mistaken. I'll look that up too as well. But good stuff, man. Had to throw that in there too, man. But let's keep this going here. I know we're just like, good thing JQ's not on tonight, because we're talking about the Steelers. We're talking about the Bengals. And I'm sure Rob wanted to dig in. So the
I wonder if that's what he responded rather quickly. I wonder if that's what messed him up, because we have
I hope
Steeler stuff. I'm joking.
Yeah. So the top 5 Steeler players since the year 2000, and again, it's this is tough for me personally because the number 2 guy is pretty controversial. I think Troy Polamalu is my number 1. Just the impact, safety, just everything he's done, just changed the game. Great hair. What can you say? He was definitely a huge impact player. That's funny, Gary. Again, what did Gary say? What did he say? I was looking at
some nice smile. Could have been anything, right?
Great hair, man. He had the flowing hair. He was coming down, making plays. It was hilarious. Give it up to the Samoan players too. Junior Seau back in the day, but there you go, Chargers. Second, again, can you say Ben Roethlisberger? I mean, I know it's hard to separate the player and the person, but I know the field. That's another thing. Is TJ Watt up there? Is Antonio Brown's crazy self up there? James Harrison. I'm a huge fan of Hines Ward. I mean, I know we can kind of go back and look at all that. Jerome Bettis, whatever you want to say, man. So those are. I know I kind of added some extras in there too, but it's hard to separate the person from Ben Roethlisberger. But obviously, I know if you look at his stats, he's he's done some great things as well. But
take the off the field stuff off the table here. I'll put Ben Roethlisberger number 1. When you look at the longevity he had at the quarterback position, he started from a rookie all the way to the year he retired. He did help him win a Super Bowl and a lot of games. And the quarterback position always get elevated, right? So I would have to put Roethlisberger at the number 1 position for me. Number 2, I agree with you. Troy Polamalu was an incredible defensive player, huge impact on that organization. Hines Ward, I have number 3. He was a Super Bowl MVP.
Love Hines.
4-time Pro Bowler, tough, reliable, great blocker too. If you go back, not only was a great receiver, he was one of the best blocking wide receivers in the league too, and so very underrated in that department. TJ Watt, I have him at 4, and look, he's still playing. He's got a chance to move up on his list, right? So I have him at number 4. And number 5, I got James Harrison. He was just a beast. More ways than one.
you took away a crazy Antonio Brown, Hasi. You don't want no part of that nonsense.
I was going back.
I don't think he was there long enough.
I was going back and forth on Big Ben and Polamalu, and I went with Big Ben because I remember in his younger days when he was in there at quarterback, he was not mobile. He was a good quarterback. Sometimes he could be a great quarterback at times. Mm-hmm. But he was hard to take down.
Big guy. Yeah.
I mean, he was big enough to where he could hold a defender back and still get some sort of a pass off.
Yeah. He avoided so many sacks in his career. Not because of the run, just because he was just so big and strong.
Well, and you're right. And but so I've got him 1A and 1B is Ben and Polamalu. Polamalu, when he would come over the top, when he would come from his safety spot and time that jump, leap over the damn field.
100%.
Oh my gosh, what a move. Just the IQ, the football IQ. Knowing those snap counts and studying, that's film room stuff there.
Absolutely.
And, in the third spot, I've got Hines Ward. I've got Jerome Bettis. And I've got Harrison.
All right. No TJ Watt.
He's still playing, so I never put him on there. He's still playing.
But see, Rob, this is where I got to put Troy up there because Troy is actually in the Hall of Fame, so that's kind of where 4-time first team, 8-time.
Ben will be there.
He'll be there, but again, I'm just saying that was my separator too. I get it. You got this stats. It's not like again, this is obviously our choices, but chat in. Everyone, tell us your thoughts too, because this is what we had. If you're looking at stats and little things like that as well. Mm-hmm. We're going to show you some love, Gary, because the Blazers have made some news getting Dame Lillard back. And I think I don't know if this was a shock, but 3-year, $42 million reunion deal. He's going to rehab, obviously, this year. But he's kind of doing his swan song in Portland. and maybe he sets up as a mentor role for Scoot, and then also, Gary, you can talk about how Yang has been looking here in the summer league. Kind of they've been calling him the Chinese Jokic, right? So he's been a nice little steal for the Blazers here. Y'all got like 10 centers, but what a great move right now.
Yeah, well, we got rid of one bum. So
we got rid of 8 now, obviously. I know I'm making jokes here.
With that.
Looks like you may have got it right? If you what Rob, what do we always say? You get it wrong, you got to keep drafting, man.
Gotta keep trying.
You got to keep trying, man. So
right.
This is a good
one. Keep trying.
Go ahead, Gary.
Well, I'll tell you what. When I read this today, I was very happy with Dame's my favorite Blazer. I loved him in Portland. He was a class act on and off the court.
Mm-hmm.
Portland's the whitest city of its size in the United States. It is. And during all those riots back in Trump's first term, Damian Lillard was at the head of that.
Wow.
Keeping those people calm, keeping them focused on what we're here for.
Okay.
And he was there every chance he got. And I thought that was fantastic for him to do something like that on a personal note. I thought it was just incredible for anybody to do that. But someone that could potentially have so much to lose with his, NBA career and, maybe even status in the league because of something like that. Was fantastic. So I'm glad he's home. He's not going to play this next season, but I think with him just being there, mentoring these young guys, hopefully he'll get back and he can still shoot.
Yeah.
He's not going to be able to go in and do what he did before, I doubt. But I'm glad he's back with the organization, and they got him for a great deal. So they reap the benefits of losing him, and they get him back. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah, and I agree. If he comes back anything close to what he was before the injury, then it is a huge bargain for the Portland Trailblazers, right? So even though you sign him for 3 years, $42 million, ultimately you got to look at this as a 2-year, $42 million deal.
Right.
He's not going to play this year. So even at $21 million a season, it is a huge deal for the Portland Trailblazers if he comes back anything close to what he was prior to his Achilles injury, right? Because Dame, he can shoot from half court, and so you got to guard him from the time he crosses the half court line. You can't wait till you get close to the 3-point line, and so he's going to stretch the offense tremendously once he gets healthy for sure.
And as far as Yang, being in there. I watched him. The guy can shoot the three. He can score on the inside. Rob and I were texting back and forth, and I said, he's a little slow, and let's see how he does against the real competition. But Rob said, hey, these guys are trying to make these squads. They're legit. They're out there, doing what they can. So, I'm excited because that it could very well be the steal of the draft. Yep. So I'm excited.
And they traded down to get him too, right? So they didn't reach for him at the number 11 spot. I know the night of the draft when we were all texting, when they traded down, Gary was like, well, who are we picking? Nobody? And then you wound up picking Yang at 16. And I had a chance to see him a couple of times here in the Summer League. And to your point, Gary, what you want to do is see signs, right, in the Summer League. Right. Now, if you're drafting guys and they're not performing in the Summer League at all, then that's a concern. And it's the Summer League, but you do want to see signs that can carry over to the fall when they start playing for real in October. And you did see some signs of encouragement from Yang, right? You can step out and shoot the three. I look at him more of as a stretch forward than to do a center. And even though he's 7'1", but when you look at his stats, he was stat sheet stuffer, right? To steal Kellogg's words, he was shooting the ball from 3-point range at a high percentage. He was rebounding, assisting. blocks, steals. So he was definitely a stat sheet stuff. He can handle the basketball too at his size. So a very versatile player, and you definitely see some signs that he can carry over to play in October.
Yeah, I'm excited. Thanks for your input.
Yeah, it's going to be I was a huge fan of Hanson Yang too. I thought initially he was going to drop, to the 20s, and that was definitely a surprise pick. But as Rob mentioned, you traded down, got good value. It was kind of a slight surprise, but again, basketball IQ is off the chain. Again, he's still young. You can't teach that height, right? And Rob, like you said, it's kind of this positionless basketball. You got a guy that can get out there and shoot threes at 7-2. That's nuts. We called Kristaps Porzingis the unicorn. We got to figure another name for Yang, man, because that dude, we like his upside for sure.
Yeah, but you look at the game of basketball, man. It is so global. It's unreal.
100%.
You're looking at these guys coming in the league from China, Israel, France, Russia, Eastern European players for sure, right? Australia, a lot of guys got drafted in this league. I mean, these players are coming from all over the world. I tell you, man, I had a chance to go to France last month, and man, they are educated basketball fans in that country, right? And they know the game. They know all the NBA teams. They are educated basketball fans. Wow. And they love the game, and they're producing a lot of studs coming into the league.
Let's go, France. Like I said, we'll talk about is the USA in trouble at some point. I know we had some scares, but again, we'll see if eventually there's going to be a team that's gonna take the USA down. Right. Woo! We'll keep an eye on that, especially Canada too. With SGA.
Well, the United States is still the king.
We're the king right now.
And it's not even close.
SGA's from Canada. I'm just saying, there's a lot of.
I'm not gonna say it's not close.
Yeah.
but there's the NBA is thinking about it.
You look at Rob. If you don't think it's close, you look at the number of players that were drafted in the 2 rounds.
Still more USA players for sure, no doubt.
There you go. It's not even close.
Yeah.
Those players that aren't drafted, they're not getting a chance.
Mm-hmm.
So it's only the ones that are drafted, and the few that trickle in through the D League or whatever.
But I still don't know if I would use this term "not even close" because when you look at when these teams play against each other, the games are just so close. Yeah. When you look at Serbia against the USA, when you look at France against the USA, when you look at some of these countries when they're playing against our, now mind you, those countries, their players are probably played more together than our players get an opportunity to. So they have a little bit of an advantage, and they play by the international rules, year round. And our NBA players do not. They have to adjust to that, for the Olympics. So there are some advantages that they have, but it's, when you talk about the NBA is looking to expand to see possible Seattle and Las Vegas, the 32 teams here in the next few years. There's so much global talent that I don't think there's any concern about diluting the talent in basketball because there's so much global talent around the world.
Yeah. Good stuff. Let's talk about, Rob, some highlights as far as some NBA free agency buzz here. So I know we've talked about some of the West Power struggles. I'm going to shout out my Hawks doing some things here, but I want to hear your thoughts as far as what's happening really quickly as far as some quick updates.
Yeah, when you just look at recently, you look at what the Clippers have done this offseason, right? John Collins, Brook Lopez, now getting Bradley Beal. And now I hear they're even talking to Chris Paul about possibly coming on a 1-year deal. So when you look at the Clippers, they've added a lot of depth to possibly compete for, Western Conference Championship, right? I know we've talked about the Rockets, but, I think there's still a little bit of concern for me with Kevin Durant because, he went to the Brooklyn Nets. You thought they were going to do something. They didn't. He went to the Phoenix Suns. You thought they were going to do something. They didn't. And but on paper, this Houston Rockets team looks like they're the second best team in the conference. But I'm just so concerned about, these last 2 teams that Kevin Durant has been on. They didn't scratch the surface of their potential, right? So we have to see how that works out in Houston. But that Houston team is loaded, right? When you look at the depth on their roster, they got so many 6'8", 6'9", 6'10" guys that can defend with long arms, and And so they're a loaded team on paper. I think they're the second best team in the West. I'm just a little leery just because the last couple of teams Kevin Durant has went to, we thought they were loaded, and they didn't do jack.
Well, and I was really surprised with the Suns. Going in there, I thought, man, they are loaded.
We all did. Everyone on paper. That's why you don't play on paper, Gary.
Team to beat. And what a
you got to forget that Nets team had Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, James Harden.
Yeah, they had Harden. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And they didn't do nothing. And so I don't know what it is. Is it Kevin Durant? I'm like, those are all.
Well, what's the common factor there? It's Kevin Durant.
Yeah. Yep. And that's what concerns me. I'm not a Rockets fan, so I'm just saying if you are a Rockets fan, that will concern me. And it's interesting. I've read some of the Rockets blogs, and some fans even said that. Well, there goes our team. Kevin Durant is going to bring us down. Yeah.
Now, how does he bring a team down?
Joker, though. I think he's a heck of a coach.
I'm a fan of Durant. Yeah. Let's not shit on him too much.
How does he bring a team?
Kevin Durant, top 15, top 20 player of all time. There's no slouch at all.
Okay.
How does he bring a team down? How does he bring a team down like he did, in New York, and and then with the Suns? How does he bring that team down with those players around him? I mean, he's still scoring the same amount. He's a scorer. He's doing his thing. Is he taking so many shots that they're not getting enough attempts? And this is the reason I'm not even really sure. I'm trying to figure this out. It seems like the common denominator is Kevin Durant, but how?
Mm-hmm. You can't put your finger on it. Yeah, that's a really good point because he's scoring the basketball. I don't think he's as good a defensive player he was early on in his career. So I think that's a factor too. Is he being a leader? Is he bringing the team together, right? Those are all things that you got to consider here, right? You had Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Kevin Durant all on the same team, and I think they barely got a 7th seed in the playoffs, right? And that's horrible, yeah, with that kind of talent.
Well, Marcy had a comment. Marcy had a comment about the Warriors. He should have stayed with the Warriors.
Oh, Marcy's chiming in.
Marcy, he didn't stay with the Warriors.
You got to blame Draymond for that, Marcy.
Well, we know about that.
And his feelings were hurt. He wanted it to.
Well, we know that he's an emotional dude, man. Let's just.
And it was never going to be his team.
He was fine with that. He was fine with
that. He was not fine with that.
Yes, there was a podcast that talked about it.
Was absolutely.
Hold on, Gary. I know that we like to, again, get on both sides, but we don't know him personally. I don't know. I don't hang out with him, but there was a podcast, and it was the Knuckleheads. It was Darius Miles, and oh my God, I forgot his name, but he was talking about you should listen. It was a great podcast, and it was talking about how he had to adapt to playing with the Warriors and Steph Curry. And, he's like, it made him a better player because he knew that was Steph Curry's team. He's like, I know this is Curry's team. But he's like, it made me focus because he knew I was only possibly going to get 10 to 15 shots a game. So what did that mean? That made me more focused on shooting, because he knows, I got to defer to Curry. He even said that. He knew that. Now what happened?
I've heard him say that.
He was a better player. He was the best player on that team. I mean, I know it was Curry's team per se.
And that's where it ended up.
He Finals MVP both times.
He ended up being the best player on the team, and this is where I think it went wrong. Not only Draymond's, antics, but just in his own head. How is it still Curry's team when I'm the best player on the team and I'm the MVP?
He had to. What do you got to do? Come in there and talk about this is my team. Curry's
no, you go in there. You go in there and you do exactly what he did. This is Curry's team, this, that, and the other, just like he did. But then at some point, when he's the guy that's leading the team, and he's the guy that's making those shots in the playoffs, and he's the guy that gets the MVP, all of a sudden, guess what's creeping in your head?
I get you.
I'm the shit.
So what happened? Yeah, all of that, the Draymond thing, the outside forces that everyone.
I mean, it's got to be just more than one thing, but I think that
I agree with you. I agree with you with that. But I do say
I know that you're a Warriors fan, and I just want you to know that I hate the Warriors.
That's okay. Robert hates the Warriors. Robert hates the Warriors too. I get all that. I mean, like I said, I will say this:
the players respect the Curry more than they did Durant.
I will say this: I will. We're gonna have a show about this one time too, guys. As I do a little tangent, because I appreciate what the Warriors did. Because there's players that you see and you like. You're like, hey, because this player's playing now, I like the team. Whenever Curry came, like I said, the wifey, best friend. They are like, we're Warriors fans. I was like, oh, this is great for me because they became this huge basketball fans. And I was like, this is great. So we were talking basketball. It was phenomenal. And then they ended up winning. It even took it to a whole other level. So they respected what's happening with the Warriors. And yeah, we're not going to talk about what happened with Latrell and with Billy Owens back in the days. But I'm just saying it was a unique time. It was Tim Hardaway's my guy. But it was a unique time to have that. Now, Gary, again, I see what you're saying as far as, yes, there's two sides. We know that there's other things that make a player fragile, egos, all that fun stuff, So, yes, whenever he got to the Warriors and he was being shit on for leaving and, leaving OKC because you joined the team that beat you, but the Warriors are like, they made the pitch. And he's like, all right, I'm there. He goes and wins all the stuff. And then maybe he's like, yeah, maybe I can do it on my own. Then you realize I can't do it on my own because he tried to go to Brooklyn. That was a disaster.
I would agree with you 100% if one thing would have happened. To me, in my mind, in this whole KD scenario, if he'd have went back to the Warriors now instead of Houston, I would have said, you know what, I was wrong. And I was wrong. He's still going back there.
He said he wanted no part of going back to Golden State. He made that clear.
Because Draymond's still there. Again, that's a whole other conversation. So, But again, Draymond's a little asshole.
Did he specifically say because Draymond's not there?
Let's read between the lines, Gary. We
all know that.
He called him some pretty foul things. I'm not going to repeat what was said. JQ would say it, but it was calling him a female genitalia to his face and stuff like that. And we don't need you. And Draymond, you got a lot of, man, I don't know what the hell. Draymond must have pictures or something, man, because that dude, I don't even know how he's still around. But, that's neither here nor there. So,
yeah.
But Draymond is still one of those kind of guys you like having on your team, though.
Absolutely.
If he's not on your team, you hate him. But if he's
remember last week we were talking about, and I was mentioning to you how athletes prepare, and we're surprised that some athletes just don't prepare and don't try and get better for the next season and work on their weaknesses and things like that. Draymond's one of those guys. He puts the work in. He's an asshole. He's a big mouth or whatever. But somehow, some way, in the biggest moments, he'll go and he'll shut down that guy that they need shut down. And he's done it his whole career.
You look at that first round series against the Rockets this past playoffs here, right? I mean, that was a heck of a series. I thought it was one of the better series of the entire playoffs with 7 games. But Alperen Sengun, he was cooking in that series, right? But when they needed to get a stop, they put Draymond on them, and they would get stops in the clutch situation. I mean, the Rockets still won 3 games in that series, gave the Warriors all they could handle. But yeah, you saw why you have Draymond Green still on that team, because he can get you some defensive stops when you needed to. And he was giving Alperen Sengun the business in the stretch time of those games. Marcy said he's a liability.
Marcy, you think Draymond's a liability out there? I'd be curious. I don't personally think he is. In fact, I think he's
like Dennis Rodman, right? When Rodman, you didn't like him unless he was on your team. He was just a guy that did everything he could to help you to win. He was going to guard he was going to guard the other team's best players.
I remember when
he found the heck out of the basketball, and he was going to talk all the noise and get under their skin and all of that too, right? That's what
she's yelling, no.
I remember Dennis Rodman. He was the only one that could guard Karl Malone. Karl Malone beat up everyone.
Yep.
And Dennis Rodman, he would put a full court press.
He punched Jordan Poole in the face. Yes, he did.
I will tell you this. I will tell you this.
My Pelicans now.
I will tell you this. He goes back in time. I'm gonna say a name. Bill Laimbeer was that guy, right? Just clotheslining people. The first bad boys, but he backed it up, that's kind of the player type of archetype I'm thinking that Draymond is trying to do. Yeah, we know about this, Marsh. They're going to
KD. Marcy's on a roll. She's on a roll.
Oh man, let's talk about this. This is for you, Marcy. I know. Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. But he ain't going. He got pictures, so he ain't going nowhere. The whole family is all excited about this. Phoenix is actually probing a sign and trade for Jonathan Kuminga. The Warriors want some first-round assets, though, so something that Phoenix clearly lacks. So they're trying to work a third team in here. It looks like Kuminga is seeking, $25 million plus per year. So what do you think about this? Obviously, Phoenix is one of the huge trades here, obviously. They got Jalen Green, Grayson Allen, Dylan Brooks. They got a couple things. I got to look at what the wings and forwards here, but they've got a lot of moves here, man. So what do you think is happening? Bradley Beal gets bought out. Obviously they're free from that $100 million, so they're happy because they're out of the first apron. But what do you think?
Marcy's still on the roll. Let's not talk about kicking LeBron and impacted the championship run.
Yeah. That's the move I like the best is when he kicked LeBron. He was yelling, "Kick him again!"
Well, he got suspended and he got kicked out of the game. We know about this. I know how you hate that too. I know how you feel about it. They're not Warriors fans, Beb. I'm just saying.
Gary's a big time LeBron hater. Just if I was listening,
I don't know. Do you hate the Warriors more than LeBron? Gary?
No, I don't. First of all, I don't hate the Warriors actually, and I don't hate LeBron.
Fair.
But I just don't think he's the GOAT. I would have respected him more if he would have just stayed and brought more championships to his first team instead of just try it and, manipulate everything to be able to compete with Jordan in the GOAT conversation.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Different scenarios. I remember I had a leader years ago told me that, everybody career paths are different.
Absolutely, Rob.
And so, and I remember I had a leader, and those words still stick to me together. So, Jordan was probably, and I agree with you. I don't think LeBron is the GOAT by any means.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we all agree but I do think LeBron is the second best player of all time. But I do think everybody's career paths is different. And I think, the Bulls were able to put Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant and the heck of a coach and Phil Jackson around Jordan. And the Cavs, unfortunately, weren't able to do that for LeBron. You have Mo Williams. That's probably Zydrunas Ilgauskas is like the best players around them. And they were still winning 60 games with those dudes. And so, everybody's career path is different. And everybody's got to take different career paths to where they're going to go to be successful in their careers. So that's all I will say about that. And obviously, if you want to compete, he was not going to win a championship in Cleveland. Let's just face that.
I won't say that either, because with LeBron there, he attracts players to play with him. Could they have brought in players to play with LeBron in Cleveland? Absolutely, they could have. They didn't.
They obviously didn't get it right. They obviously did not. They kept trying, but they never got it right. I mean, he brought 88-year-old Shaq at the end of his career. The Cavs were trying. They just couldn't get it right. They just couldn't get it right. So things just didn't fall into place for him. He never had a great coach. So things never fell into place for him like it was set up for Jordan.
Marcy's going off over there in the chat. I don't know if you want to see all this, man. She's still thinking I think Kobe's
Stop it, Rob. Thank you, Marcy.
But she's thinking that Kobe's number 2 right now. So.
No, Kobe's not number 2. And we talked about this on the chat. You can't put Kobe ahead of Kareem. Kobe's only got 1 MVP. Kareem's got 6. And the sky hook was unstoppable.
100%.
Kobe, for 3 of his titles, was not even the best player on his team. It was Shaq, and Shaq was the Finals MVP, and he won MVPs during those seasons. So you can't give it to Kobe. LeBron's got 4 MVPs. Kobe has 1. LeBron has 21 seasons of high-level performance. Kobe struggled his first 3 years.
He's got.
You're not finished. Kobe struggled in the early part of his career. LeBron never struggled in the early part of his career. LeBron hasn't struggled in 21 seasons.
That's true.
Kobe struggled early in his career. Kobe struggled at the end of his career. LeBron has never been the second best player on his team. Never. In his whole 21-year career. Kobe, a good portion
of Miami,
was the second. He was not the second best player on his team in Miami. Y'all stop that foolishness right there.
Dwayne Wade in Miami.
Dwayne was bombed, but
Dwayne Wade was hurt on a lot of those teams too, and he was never as good as LeBron. Now, do I think Kobe's a top 10 player? Absolutely. It was a joy to watch. It was fun to watch. I enjoyed watching him, but he does not have the resume that LeBron James has.
You're right. He's got a resume 2 decades long, and 1 season he played all 82 games. 1 season.
Yeah.
Isn't that don't you find that odd?
Well,
how many did Kareem?
How many people have played 21 straight years at a high level?
Yeah, it's pretty rare. That's pretty rare.
Yeah. Answer that question for me, Gary. How many? Not Jordan.
No, 0.
Kobe. Not Kareem. And I'm not putting him over Jordan, but he still has played 21 seasons at a high level, and Jordan has never done that. Jordan retired twice. He took a year and a half off.
Well,
he took 3 years off.
There's a couple of factors there. It's how they play the game.
Still played at a high level.
You're right. Nobody has except LeBron with an asterisk. Mm-hmm. They don't play like they played. Do you think he would have been playing 20 years if he played in the damned 70s and 80s? Hell no, he wouldn't have been playing 20 years. No way.
I disagree with you. I think today the game is better.
These players, they didn't even know what load. Hang on, you talked. Now let me. The load management thing, remember? Talk about load management. He's on this load management and everything like
Jordan took 4.5 years off. That's not load management?
No, he switched careers. He switched careers.
4.5 years off.
You can't listen. You had a person that everybody's career path told you that everybody's career path can be different.
Yeah.
Okay, that was Jordan's career path.
I'm just going to say that
you can't blame him for load management if Jordan took 4.5 years off.
Yes, you can.
LeBron has never took 4.5 years off. He's played during the Summer Olympics. Shucks, he saved us. He saved the USA in the Olympics this past summer. Him and Steph Curry. They saved us, or we wouldn't have won the Olympics without Steph Curry and LeBron James.
What's his record in the Olympics again?
I don't know what his record is in the Olympics, but I know he saved us this past Olympics. We wouldn't have won it.
What did he get? Didn't he get a bronze medal in the Olympics?
Yeah, he did. 2006.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Look, I'm not one of the, most people either love Jordan and they hate LeBron, or they love LeBron and they hate Jordan. I'm not one of those guys. I love them both. I got a North Carolina Jordan jersey. I got a Cleveland Cavs LeBron jersey. I'm just all about fairness and giving guys credit where credit is due.
You got to give anybody credit, no matter what you're doing. If you're out there and you're doing something for 2 decades, whether you're
high level,
and you're doing your thing, right? That is absolutely an accomplishment. And in sports, especially, in basketball, it hasn't been done.
It's tough. It's tough.
I get in that, but there's also
you bringing up load management. You're looking for things to poke at them too.
No, I'm just saying that there's reasons why. if you take that out of the equation, if you take in how they play the game out of the equation, and if next year they started playing it like they did back in the 80s, where you could throw somebody absolutely.
We're giving LeBron credit. This is what I'm going to say really quickly.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, they would throw a guy down, and it was just a common foul.
We're gonna be here all
day.
Yeah.
They weren't getting.
Well, no, this is a fun conversation, right?
Right.
Because this is a conversation that we hear a lot about, right?
Yeah.
So it's definitely fun.
You're
In my mind, they're clearly the top 2 players of all time, and I think Kareem is number 3. In my mind, they're the top 3 players in NBA history.
I think that you're right on the top 3. They're just in the wrong order. I think that that Jordan is clearly number 1, and I think there could be a case between Kareem and LeBron.
Yeah.
And I put Kareem as the best Laker.
You're entitled to your opinion, but the only reason I would put LeBron number 2 is because Kareem did not have the longevity in his career that LeBron has had. And that's the reason you got to give LeBron a lot of credit for that. He take care of his body. 21 years of playing at a high level. We got dudes that are still playing in the league. I mean, we got dudes that came in the same year with LeBron that's been retired for like 8-9 years now.
Oh,
even
yeah.
Dwayne Wade even said that. Dwayne Wade said, we came in the league together, and this dude's still playing, and I can barely walk. That's what Dwayne Wade said. He said, the guy is like not human. So you got to give him, whether you like him or not, you got to give him credit for the way.
I have a lot of respect for LeBron James. You guys don't think I do, because I don't think he's the GOAT, and I don't think he's second. But if you're in the top 3 players to ever suit up,
that's incredible.
That's not anything to scoff at. That's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm taking his longevity into account. But I'm also taking some other things into account. That's why I put Kareem above him.
I mean, it's
and I hate the Lakers. You guys know I hate the Lakers. So I'm putting a Laker. Of course, LeBron's a Laker too, but he's just passing through the Laker organization.
Yeah. I think JQ sees it the same way I did from text message. He had Jordan 1, LeBron 2, and Kareem 3, and that's how I have it too.
Oh, he texted me just now and said, yeah, I agree with you 100%, Gary.
The lie doesn't care who tells it. Gary.
Can you see it?
Yeah. I'm just going to say this. I'm going to say, and because this is a great debate, and I'm kind of
this
like.
This wasn't a topic tonight,
Rob,
too. We just kind of got thrown in there.
Yeah, it's crazy. I like both players. Like, I'm always going to be Jordan number 1 because I remember like watching the Jordan tapes, You Can Fly, and all that fun stuff. The most fantastic thing I've ever seen in my life was watching Jordan play. And now this is me dating myself. And there was no load management back in the day. Jordan was such a competitor. Like the time the Bulls won those 6 championships. I mean, he was just an amazing player. I mean, just the will to win, all the rules. They were playing some fantastic teams, some teams that were averaging 60 wins. The Jazz, you had to go up against the Pistons. Yet these weren't like slouch teams. These were like teams that were built to beat you. And obviously he gets over that hump, but
the Blazers,
the
Jazz,
the Suns, the Rockets, the Blazers. You had squads. You had squads upon squads, and it was they were allowing hand checks and hard fouls, and the Charles Oakleys and the Knicks and the Pacers. These were really good teams, and there wasn't like I'm going to take a night off. And every single time Jordan was there, he played. If he wasn't hurt, I remember like I wanted to see him. I saw him at the Georgia Dome. I was like 30,000 feet in the air, but I went to a game. Like I saw Jordan. I was so happy because just seeing him in person was like it was a thing. It wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna take the night off. You're like, you knew that I'm gonna see Jordan play, and he gave us everything he had. That's why I'm always gonna give him the GOAT because I hate the fact that we have load management and Rob, I know you talk about him taking time off, but in that span, like that was a dominant span. And I don't know, LeBron is big enough.
I was just saying the load management is not fair if you're gonna compare that versus a guy that's taking 3.5 years off.
I understand that.
To me, that's not fair to bring up.
Completely
load management is something that scientists are brought into the NBA. It wasn't LeBron James bringing that to the NBA. And I mean, and all the players, that's something that scientists have brought into the league, saying, hey, if we want to prolong in health and things of that nature, they've kind of brought that along. And but yeah, I just don't think it's fair to bring up load management when you got a guy that took 3.5 years off. But no, I get it.
He didn't take 3.5 years off. He played a different sport.
He took 3.5 years off from basketball, and baseball is not the same thing as playing basketball.
It's still a sport.
Look,
he's still playing.
I'm going to say this. I
will say this.
I don't know. I rarely agree with Stephen A. Smith. I'm not a huge fan of Stephen A. Smith. I'll say this on the show here. The one thing I will agree with him is when Jordan and LeBron were both at the height of their careers, Jordan was better, right? So I still think Jordan is the best of all time. But another thing Stephen A. Smith said, and he doesn't even like LeBron, but he said no one has been greater for the longevity that LeBron has had in his career for 21 years. So I thought he explained that as well as anybody. And when both at the height, Jordan was the best. But no one has played at the highest level that LeBron has played for 21 years. And you got to give him credit for that. And look, Jordan has accomplished some stuff that LeBron hasn't done. LeBron has accomplished some stuff that Jordan hasn't done. The 21 years of 5.
Or lose 4 or 5 times in the finals.
Yeah. No, I agree. Jordan went 6-0. Now Jordan had better teams. LeBron beat the 73.
He didn't have better teams.
Bill Weddington.
He didn't have better teams than. No way. You're. I don't know what you're talking about. He had better teams. Now that is absolutely ridiculous.
LeBron took teams to the finals with Mo Williams and Jadrunas and Galkas were the best, second and third best players on the team. How are you going to say that that's a better team than what Jordan had?
Wow. The players that he's had on his teams, you go take a look at the lists of the players that they both had on their
teams. The teams that he lost in the finals with. He also beat a team with 73 wins in the finals.
Wow.
And so LeBron is the only player in NBA history that's led the finals twice in points, rebounds, and assists. And he's the only player in NBA history that has led the finals in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. Only player in NBA history. I'm just saying you got to give him his flowers.
We're giving him flowers. I think we're just on different.
Yeah, for you to say that Jordan had better teams, it's
inconsistency.
Not only Rob,
Pippen was a top 5 player when he was in the league.
It's absolutely
top 5.
Asinine.
When did LeBron ever have a top 5 player as a teammate?
Oh my God.
Kyrie
wasn't the top 5 player in the league. Get out of here, man. You don't even believe that.
Yeah, I believe he was.
Kyrie's pretty good.
Y'all are really some LeBron haters.
No, it's not.
I don't hate. I don't hate LeBron. I don't hate
top 5 player. He never has been a top 5 player.
When you get off this podcast tonight or tomorrow when you're sleeping underneath your desk like George Costanza, I want you to get on your phone and look at the amount of players, all-star players that played with LeBron on all of his teams versus what Jordan had to.
Hold on. Was Dwayne Wade a top 5 player?
Not when they were playing together. He was a top 5 player before LeBron went to Miami, yes. But by the time LeBron went to Miami, Dwayne Wade wasn't even healthy. Go and look it up.
He wasn't healthy, but was he a top 5 player?
When Miami won a championship with Shaq, Dwayne Wade was definitely a top 5 player. But by the time they were teammates, he was not.
Okay. We're gonna, again, I just, we're gonna have to. I'm not a LeBron hater. I'm just here. The last comment I'm gonna say, this is a great conversation. Shout out to Marcy again. I'm just gonna say again, the load management thing is always gonna upset me because they didn't have load management back in the day, and those players can be fine. That's all I'm gonna say too. So
we can agree to disagree with that, but I'm just saying when you're talking about those guys, you can't bring up load. You can't not have load management if Jordan took 3.5 years off. That's all.
Marcy made a comment here, and it says she just put Kobe across one of her comments. And if I was in a draft and we had a choice between drafting, not knowing what we know now, Kobe's my guy.
Yeah, I had a trivia question about that. That was for Vlade Divac, basically. For the number 13th pick went to him. He went to the Hornets. Can you imagine that? He's Vlade Divac is now a trivia question.
I know that's just
for Kobe. You're like, what? That was a trade.
You mentioned that in one of our conversations before the show started here. I don't know, a couple months ago about that trivia question, and so I pulled it up. I'm like, I'll be damned. Vlade Divac. That was a good move.
Yeah, I mean that's never Shaq called the what do you call him the Sacramento Queen.
The longevity for LeBron is absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. Of course, also just like you mentioned, Rob, science is a lot different. Science has improved.
Yeah, supposedly.
I mean, it has for these
science.
players.
It has, but I'm saying
science has improved, but how many players have played at a high level for 21 years? So you still can't use that on LeBron either.
No, I'm giving him the credit for that, but I'm just saying that benefited him.
That benefited him, but who else benefited from it? Who else?
Who else did it benefit? What was the question again? Say that again.
Who else benefited from it? He's the only one that has done it, right? So why hasn't others?
Well, so far,
yeah.
There are other players that are playing right now that.
But we just talked about a little while ago. There were a lot of players that were drafted the same year. And even Dwayne Wade talked about this. He said, "Man, we got guys who've been retired for 9-10 years, and LeBron's still playing."
Some of these real high flyers. Now LeBron's a big guy, but he's not what I would call a high flyer. He can dunk it. He can do
whether he's a high flyer or not.
No.
Who else has played 21 years at a high level?
Let me finish, Rob. No, let me finish, Rob. These high flyers like that, like the Dwayne Wades and guys that played like that, that just destroys their body. And I feel sorry for him seeing some of these players now and how crippled up they are. I mean, they're literally crippled.
Every time we see Kenny Smith, man, his knees are all like it's
incredible. No. This was for the show, but LeBron's fantastic, and not only is he a fantastic NBA player in that conversation, he's also a fantastic person that has done. He's a family man. He's never been in any kind of trouble. Never had any kind of problems whatsoever as far as that goes, but social justice issues and stuff. He steps up and he says something. Yeah. And I think that when 100%. You are in that GOAT conversation, and this is where I put him miles above Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan never said squat about anything. Except
he was definitely.
LeBron has had the ability 100%. To speak out and speak up using his voice as an athlete to maybe help out. And I really respect that. The other guy that did that was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Well,
He's the GOAT of that. But LeBron is right up there with him. Mm-hmm. And Michael is way down in the top 100.
Talking strictly basketball, Jordan is the best of all time. I'm not arguing with that. My argument is I think we got to stop discrediting what LeBron has done or looking for something.
I want you to stop discrediting what Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has done. Also,
y'all trying to put Kobe ahead of him. I'm like, no way you can't put Kobe ahead of Kareem.
I didn't put Kobe in college as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he didn't come straight into the NBA, but he was a Bruin. I mean, he had a pretty good record there with the Bruins. I think they even won.
Yeah, I think they won every year he was there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, let's get through these last couple topics. Let's wrap this up really quickly. This is gonna be like a speed round here. Obviously tough for Caitlin Clark. She's out of the 3-point contest in the game. I think because she had a groin strain. She's gonna coach the team WNBA, so that's gonna be tough for TV. I know we can talk about that quickly. Shout out to LSU, Rob getting the number 1 recruit, Lamar Brown. Possible 2-way linemen. They have 4 5-stars in the 2026 cycle. And then I'm going to talk about really quickly the SEC forecast. You got Texas. This is the USA Today preseason poll. Texas, Georgia, Alabama, LSU, Florida, I think is what they got. The Arch Manning era begins, if you will. So, but yeah, there you go. That's what I got for my last couple topics.
There you go.
Anything to add to that?
No, you look at the SEC. I got Texas as a favorite too. Arch Manning. I think he's going to have a breakout year at the quarterback position, and Texas is loaded, right? And I have Georgia number 2, mainly because of how I think they're going to perform on defense and in the trenches. I still got questions about Gunnar Stockton, though. Is he the real deal? I have Alabama number 3. They're loaded in the trenches this year. Their defense should be good in the front 7, good offensive line. But even Alabama, Ty Simpson at the quarterback. I have LSU 4. Now I think LSU's got the best quarterback in the conference, in Gary Nussmeier, or maybe we'll have to see what Arch Manning does. And LSU strong with weapons on the perimeter. The only reason I'm placing LSU 4, I just don't know how good the offensive line is going to be this year. We lost 4 of our 5 starters from last year or got drafted in the NFL. So if LSU can get some quality offensive line play, their offense could be really one of the best in the country this year.
Well, you talk about Texas and then Georgia and then Alabama and LSU. And I've got them in that order as well, Rob, but
I had the same order.
I was reading that today that Texas and Georgia are clearly the favorites. And then I was looking at Alabama and LSU, and I think that's a 4-team race. I don't think there's really.
I think all 4 of those teams make the playoffs.
I think all 4 of those teams have a shot at winning the conference.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I don't think all of them have a few question marks, right? Arch Manning's only started 2 games. We know his potential, we know his talent, but he's only started 2 college football games, right? Georgia and Alabama both have questions at quarterback. I mean, the rest of the rosters are loaded. LSU has the quarterback, but the question mark is the offensive line. Now, Texas, Alabama, and Georgia offensive lines look to be pretty strong. And that's the reason LSU's loaded at quarterback and the perimeter. The defense should be better. We just got to see how that offensive line shakes out for LSU.
What's your gut feeling on that, Rob?
I think all 4 of those teams make the playoffs.
What's your gut feeling on that offensive line? Is it going to pan out, or is it going to be their
for LSU?
Yeah.
Brian Kelly said this is the best roster since he's been at LSU. So let's hope he's right. I want to see it. I'll be at LSU's first game. I'll be in Clemson, South Carolina for the season opener. And so that's going to be a heck of a game because I think LSU and Clemson are both top 10 teams.
I just want to make sure that you guys know that I had the same exact order, right? Just want to make sure that I'm getting some props for that too. Just saying.
You did your homework.
Just saying. All right. Damn it. Anything else we're going to say as we wrap up today's episode?
No, other than go LeBron. Go Team LeBron.
Rob, let's wrap this up, Rob. Oh, my goodness.
Next week, we're going to be back at you talking more page, our YouTube page. Follow us. Let us know what you think about the show. We'll keep you posted. We'll be back on next week. Probably 10 p.m. or 10:15 or so Eastern Standard Time. For those of you all out here in Las Vegas, Los Angeles, Portland, Oregon, and JQ's favorite city, Fresno, that's going to be about 7 Pacific or 7:15 Pacific Standard Time. Have a great evening, everyone. A great rest.
Lilliard, welcome back to PDX. We love you.
Thank you, Jill. Jill said
Special
another good
shout
show. Keep it up, guys.
I was gonna give Jill a shout out too. Thank you, Jill, for watching and for again your comments and everything like that. We appreciate that. Shout out to Marcy for always keeping us
Yes,
engaged.
thank you, Marcy.
I just appreciate you checking in with us too as well. Everyone that's watching, give us a shout out. So whenever you put something in the comments, we can give you a shout out during the show for sure. We hope that JQ, you're feeling better. Gentlemen, we always appreciate the in-week chats. So again, keep it going. And let's get it going. NFL's right around the corner. We'll talk more about baseball. Again, we didn't shout out about the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. I know we kind of skipped over that topic, which was obviously topical this week too. But shout out to Hank Aaron, one of my favorite guys. And it was awesome. There you go.
There you go.
Hammer and Hank. Good night, people.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, guys.